Maximum pressure on Iran. U.S. Central Command releasing new video of brand new strikes on targets inside that terror nation. U.S.-Israel joint operation zeroing in on the mission to degrade Iran's military capabilities and strike at the heart of that regime's nuclear weapons ambitions. Not losing sight, that is the mission. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. The Pentagon with a new update this morning on Operation Epic Fury.
President Trump is doing what no other president had the guts to do. Previous presidents were all talk. He's all action. On the battlefield, because of the latitude the president has given us, American firepower is only increasing. Iran's decreasing. We have more and more options, and they have less. Just 1 month in, only 1 month, we set the terms. But if Iran is wise, they will cut a deal. President Trump doesn't bluff, and he does not back down.
President Trump posted video. We went after Iran's main nuclear sites inside their third largest city. Our military took out an ammunition depot. Look at your screen. This is Isfahan, and it sent a massive fireball into the sky. U.S. forces reportedly used 2,000-pound bunker busters there. And here is the CENTCOM commander, Admiral Brad Cooper.
We don't see their Navy sailing. We don't see their aircraft flying. And their air defense and missile defense systems have largely been destroyed.
Former Army Special Operations Intelligence Analyst Brett Velicovich joins me with new analysis in moments. I want to begin with senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy, kicking off our coverage from the North Lawn. Peter.
And Harris, here at the White House, the plan is changing a little bit, but the objective remains the same.
The Straits of Hormuz will be open. When this operation is over, it will be open, and it'll be open one way or another.
One of those ways, just like countries that use the Strait of Hormuz, take it. President Trump just said all of these countries that can't get jet fuel because of the Strait of Hormuz, like the United Kingdom, which refused to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, I have a suggestion for you. Number one, buy from the U.S. We have plenty. And number two, build up some delayed courage, go to the Strait and just take it. You have to start learning how to fight for yourself. The USA won't be there to help you anymore, just like you weren't there for us. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done. Go get your own oil. The president also wrote, the country of France wouldn't let planes headed to Israel loaded up with military supplies fly over French territory. France has been very unhelpful with respect to the butcher of Iran, who has been successfully eliminated. The USA will remember. And then there's this question of who is actually helping the other side. Pete Hegseth, War Secretary, this morning.
As far as Russia and China, we know exactly what they're doing, what they are or are not doing. We don't have to air publicly what all of that is, but where necessary, we're addressing it, we're mitigating it, or we're confronting it head on.
But publicly, the president and the rest of his team seem a lot less focused on telling China and Russia what to do, what not to do. They are a lot more keen on telling Europe that it's week 4 of a 4 to 6 week plan, and that it is time for them to start figuring out how they are going to step in moving forward. Harris.
Peter, thank you for getting us started this morning. And focus now, Brett Velicovich, a former Army Special Ops Intel analyst and a Fox News contributor. First of all, I want to start with where we are and what the president is saying now to these countries, that, you know, you can get involved or go get your own oil. We don't depend on the Strait of Hormuz as much as others.
Well, yeah, you're exactly right. And look, strength is what's going to create the conditions for diplomacy. You're not going to get better behavior from bad actors like Iran by asking nicely. You get it by making the costs of bad behavior just unbearable. And when countries hesitate to support U.S. operations, whether it's airspace access or political backing, it actually reinforces for me why American leadership matters the most, because at the end of the day, no one else can keep critical waterways open or deter state sponsors of terrorism and stabilize global markets at scale like the U.S. can. That's not arrogance, that's reality. When things get dangerous, the world doesn't call a committee, it calls America. And I think what's very interesting to me is, as we're seeing with Epic Fury, it's a very clear reminder that that, in decades, America power still means something when it's actually used with conviction. U.S. Central Command sent a message with this 2,000-pound bunker-busting bomb. If you want to threaten Americans' interests, we're not going to send memos. We're going to take you guys out. And what's even more telling, Harris, is how quickly the Iranian regime seems to be fracturing under pressure. You've got now this newly elected supreme leader who's issuing these rare statements, mourning commanders like the IRGC Navy chief. It tells me everything I need to know. They're in survival mode. The regime's bleeding leadership. They're losing major strategic assets. They're scrambling to project control on negotiating behind the scenes. That is not a position of leverage from the Iranian regime. That's a position of desperation. They're running out of options.
Look, I wrote down what you said. When the world gets dangerous, the world doesn't call a committee. They call America, and America answered. I mean, the people of Iran have been, you look at a very large Iranian-American population in Los Angeles, for example, people in the streets supporting this effort from the very beginning. Look, it's day 32, and on this day, there is some talk that the president is weighing putting some troops on the ground. And I understand the mission would be to further the end game of keeping them from developing nuclear weapons. So we want to find that uranium and go after it. But Brett, what more destruction of Iran's military would you like to see before we put anybody on the ground?
Well, I think there's still a little bit more we can do from the air. I would like to see some of our Tier 1 special operations guys go after these Quds Force officers running around the world trying to sow more chaos and trying to conduct these terrorism attacks. I think that we need to look at strategically what Iran's plan is right now. I think that Iran understands it cannot win a conventional fight against the United States, but that's not their objective right now. Their objective is endurance. They want to preserve enough of their nuclear capability to remain a long-term threat while raising the cost of any U.S. action high at home. And that's why their messaging right now is focused on retaliation. They want to raise the political cost in Washington, but their strategy is clear to me. Survive, stall, keep the uranium. They're not trying to defeat us. They're trying to outlast our will because they're betting that the United States doesn't have the will to finish what it started. They're calculating right now. They're calculating that we're not going to hit back hard enough. And that's why real American leadership for deterrence here matters. President Trump's been dealing with a situation that did not develop overnight. It's the result of years of feckless leaders and strategic drift. And so we're seeing the U.S. posture assets downrange with our troops to reestablish clarity, to show that the global economy is not going to be held hostage and that Iran can never toy with nuclear Armageddon again, and that has its consequences. So we shouldn't stop right now until victory is secured.
Look, that drift that you talk about is something that our enemies do watch around the world because they know that every 4 to 8 years we drift into some sort of different situation potentially for them because we have a new president, and they sometimes can wait. They play the long game with that drift. You're absolutely right. I want to get to this. The FBI says the attacker who plowed his truck into a Michigan synagogue earlier this month was motivated by one of Iran's top terror proxies. Watch.
Based on the evidence gathered to date, we assess this attack to be a Hezbollah-inspired act of terrorism, purposely targeting the Jewish community and the largest Jewish temple in Michigan.
Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, during President Trump's first term, was in studio with me yesterday. Here he is.
We will get a regime that is no longer capable of having these terror proxies around the world. It can no longer threaten the strait and deny commerce moving through. The behavior of the regime will have to change, and that's what President Trump's been driving for.
The behavior of the regime. You ticked off, Brett, like who's left at this point, and you say you haven't taken out enough guys yet.
Well, I got to say, frankly, it's pathetic, especially with these attacks that we're talking about domestically, to see domestic politicians echoing Iranian talking points while our service members right now are taking the fight to a regime that fuels global terror, from Hezbollah-inspired attacks in Michigan to threats against American universities in Beirut. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And let's zoom out here a bit about this Homeland Security angle, which too many people are ignoring. When you see Hezbollah-inspired threats or attacks that pop up domestically, it's a reminder that this isn't some distant regional conflict. This has direct implications for American safety. And when we have weakness abroad, it invites risk at home. Strength abroad is going to deter that. It's that simple. If you want fewer threats in American cities, you make sure our enemies are too busy surviving to project terror. And right now, Iranians are the regime, the leadership, the mullahs, they are in full survival mode.
Wow. Look, you get me right into my next topic here. Brett, always great to have you in the program. Thank you. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.